Stand-up comedy is the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you'd like, but you can never leave.
Welcome to Comedy Centric, your place for all things comedy. Every week, we'll discuss the legends and the people who built the business, the performers, writers, behind the scenes, and stories that you have never heard. So relax, take a load off, and join us for this episode of Comedy Centric. Now, the host of your show, nationally headlining comedian, a woman with a wicked sense of humor and a killer Jersey accent, Julia Scotti.
Yeah. Oh, here. I always see people, newscasters do this. They always have paper in front of them. So if you're going to be a newscaster, you got to have paper. Hello.
I have always legal pad.
Yeah, I got a legal pad too.
He was in the military, and he said always carry a clipboard.
Yes, you should. Well, I have a legal pad, and I'm not even a lawyer, so I'm. Hi, Kathy.
Hi. How are you?
Kathy Caldwell. How
am
I?
A hound dog in the back here.
I know. I saw your hound dog.
Rufus.
You loving that? You really need to get out and meet.
Dog.
Yeah, you need to meet people.
I know. Oh. It's sad. How you doing?
How's doing
the
good.
Bamboo situation?
The what?
Bamboo toilet paper.
The bamboo toilet paper is going great. I find them it's lasting longer. So it's another reason to buy it. I got a little bit of good news today.
What's that?
Remember my play that I wrote during COVID?
Yeah.
Love and Shade. I just found out, thanks to a good friend of ours, Jason Pollock, and he put me in touch with a theater down in Haddon Heights, New Jersey, and they are going to do a staged reading of it come April.
Oh, very nice. April 2023.
Don't know yet. Well, yeah, April 2023. Yeah. So
good.
But we're going to do 2 nights of it, so I'm excited.
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
How long is it a 3-act play or?
It's a 2-act play. 2-act play. Yeah. But it's a stage reading, so everybody's got working off the script, but it's in front of an audience. We're going to cast it like it's a show. I'm really, and we could thank Susan Sandler. It's just all her fault.
I know Susan Sandler. For anybody that is wondering, did the documentary Julia Scotti, Funny That Way, the brilliant documentary, and Susan also is she's a. Would you call her a professor?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, at Tisch in New York, and
at NYU,
very
right?
Accomplished. And the what was she? Producer? I know she wrote.
She wrote the screenplay the play that it was based on.
Sugar! It's
Crossing Delancey. Crossing Delancey. Yes. So she's I gotta say about her. I don't. She drives me crazy sometimes, but I adore her.
But I drive you crazy sometimes.
You drive me crazy too, and I adore you. Everybody that drives me crazy. You know why? Because that tells me you care, and that tells me she cares, and
he does.
And so I pay it forward and try to drive everyone
smart.
crazy.
She's really smart.
She is really smart. So, and speaking of really smart,
yes,
we have a really smart guest tonight.
Oh. Yes.
See what I did there?
I did.
This gentleman is currently in a play he wrote called "I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce," and it was directed by the well-known actor Joe Mantegna, and the actor's name is Ronnie Marmo, and he's going to be with us tonight to talk about "I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce." So I'm really looking forward to that because I did a lot of research today. I mean, I know a lot about Lenny. You almost have to if you're a comic.
Mm-hmm.
But, in these interview situations, it opens up a whole bunch of new questions that I have. So,
for sure.
We're going to.
And questions about him, too.
Yeah. So he's got quite a career. So how you doing? Everything cool?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. I was, look, I'm doing occupational therapy for my
I saw that. Yeah.
Look at that. I can do a fist now. Which means I can punch you in the nose if you're mean to me.
Why don't you punch your hound dog?
Pow. I wouldn't punch a hound dog. Pow. Zoom.
Okay.
Kazam.
If you don't want, okay, I get it. You're Batwoman.
Okay. You
Batgirl.
asked.
All right. I did ask. I don't know why I did, but I did. It's good to see you though in living color again.
Thank you.
You're feeling well, I hope.
Think so. Did you hear something I didn't?
No, I just wonder. You had a little bug a couple of weeks back, and I was worried about
I
you.
did, but I
All right.
rebounded nicely. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're gonna. I guess as soon as I hear the music,
Oh,
I'm
is
gonna.
that what you were waiting for?
Well, I was kind of waiting. Well, I talked about
Ooh.
Ronnie Marmo being our guest,
Yeah.
and he's gonna. Oh, there it is.
Look at that. I hear it.
Yes. All right. So we'll be back in a really short while, right after this commercial. See you in a bit.
Yay.
My papers. I'm looking at work. Hey, listen, my album, Julie Scotti Jersey Fresh, is available everywhere now. You can download it wherever you want. Everywhere. It's really kind of funny. It's like $10. Come on, buy the damn thing, will you? And also, check out on the Dry Bar, my comedy special, Dry Bar Comedy. It's called Julia Scotti Jersey Fresh. So you can, it's my understanding that if you sign up for Dry Bar, you can see like 100,000 comics on there. But you, of course, have to watch mine. But you get a free month. I think it's still going on like that. So, again, my album, Primal Cuts, and my special on Dry Bar, Jersey Fresh. It's so simple. Come on, do it. Do it for me. Do it for your mom. I love you. Bye. Oh, gotta fix my bra.
What are you
So-
adjusting? What are you adjusting there?
The girls were flying out. If you're a comedian of any age, you owe a huge debt of gratitude to several groundbreaking comedians, and usually it always comes back to Lenny Bruce. And I know when I was coming up, the first time I heard him, I couldn't believe how great this guy was. He was so different from everybody else. And I ran right out and I bought his book called, How to Talk Dirty and Influence People, and the albums. And so Lenny's been a big part of my life since way before my comedy years began. And I heard about our guest tonight, Ronnie Marmo, from a friend of ours, Steve Trevelise, who has a radio show here in New Jersey 101.5. And Ronnie is currently touring, starring. He wrote this show called I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce, which I think is a quote from an interview we'll ask that Lenny actually said, but we'll ask Ronnie when he gets here. The play is directed by the acclaimed actor Joe Mantegna. And I am so thrilled to have him here because anytime people want to talk about Lenny, I'm there. So, Kath, you ready?
He also has some other acting chops, too.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I know. I saw that today. Well, let's bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. Ronnie Marmo.
Hey, that was great. Thank you, guys.
Well, you freak me out anyway because you look like Lenny, and it just you freak me out coming on and go, oh, geez. Anyway,
no, that was good for my self-esteem. I appreciate that. So thank you. What do you do?
Right away, gotta ask why? Why Lenny?
Why Lenny? You guys,
I'm gonna jump right into it. Why Lenny?
We're gonna need a couple of weeks to talk about that. But the short version is how I listen. I grew up. I'm a little young for Lenny, but I grew up with Carlin and Pryor and all the greats. And a guy, Charlie Brill. You know Charlie Brill and Mitzi McCall?
Sure. Yeah, Brill and McCall. Yeah.
Charlie Brill's one of my dearest friends. I hang out with all those guys. Jack Burns, who just passed.
Yeah.
All those guys. They let me hang out with them. And every Wednesday we have lunch for probably like 18 years now. And every week I see these guys. So Charlie Brill one day said to me, you know who Lenny was, Lenny Bruce? I said, well, I know his name and a little bit. I heard my parents listening to him. And they're like, he said, somebody wrote this play for me. It's called Lenny's Back, and boy, is he pissed. And he said, but I'm too old. I don't want to learn it. You learn it. You remind me of Lenny. So he told me I remind him of Lenny. So long story short, he talked me into doing it. Took 2 years because I was scared because all Lenny's friends are still alive.
Sure,
And
yeah.
in fact, you'll appreciate this. How I got him to do it, how he got me to do it was I made him and Mitzi do their old routine at my theater for like 100 friends. And they did their act for the first time in many years. And I said, if you do that, we'll do it. And so
they're legendary too, because weren't they on the Ed Sullivan Show with the Beatles? They had to go on
for the Beatles the night the Beatles came out.
And nobody
was listening.
To see them. I know.
And Charlie's like, who are these kids with the hair? What's with the hair? And in fact, John Lennon drew this beautiful picture of Mitzi backstage on a napkin and gave it to her.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I do this show. I fall in love with Lenny. I go, oh, I get it. And I run the show twice, 6 months each time, 5 years apart. And all his friends came, Pat Harrington, anybody you could think, Joanne Worley. So finally, I started to realize that like, I wasn't telling the whole story. I felt like I was doing a very safe, nice version of Lenny. I don't want to say Disney, that's not right, but it was nice. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this man's story, I got to tell warts and all. And so I set out to write my own, and now we've been running 5 years. It took me 5 years to write. Now we're running 5 years.
Did you, was Joe Ancis, and did you get to talk to him at all? Was he still alive? Remember Joe Ancis, his best friend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He came. Yes, he came to see the show. So did Frank. Oh my God. Oh damn it. Pirelli, Frankie Ray Pirelli. Do you know him?
I don't know who that is. No, I don't remember him.
There were a lot of guys who spent a lot of time with Lenny who would come and sit in the front row and they would cry, Lenny, my friend.
Wow.
Well, Joe, I know he was particularly close to because they roomed together in New York sometimes when Lenny. And I got to meet Joe a couple of times. He was through Rodney Dangerfield. So.
Oh, great. I mean, these guys are, and the fact that I'm so close with Charlie and Jack Burns, who just passed. And Jack Burns, Lenny got Jack and George Carlin their first agent.
Right.
When Carlin, Lenny walked them up. So Jack would sit in the front row and he'd cry, my friend, I miss it. And he would kiss me all over, It was a whole thing. Really.
So I was watching the trailer. It seemed like people were coming to see it multiple times.
Yeah.
And was that just a result of just the portrayal was so people just kind of wanted to relive that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's weird for me to talk about it that way, but I will say, I mean, it's how do you talk about yourself? But
sure.
But I
Julia
will
can ask Julia. She's good at it.
I will say that total strangers have come a dozen times who just this show caught on and touched a nerve with so many people for a lot of different reasons, and I'm so grateful for that. And we've, people still want to see it. I'm excited to do
it. Did you ever do stand-up? Do you have any experience doing it?
I have too much respect for stand-up to act like I do stand-up. People think I do stand-up. I'm an actor who's like really comfortable with a microphone. I host a lot of charity events. I do things like that. I'm pretty quick with a mic. I did stand up one night. Do you know Michael Wheels Parisi? Michael Wheels? He opened for Dice for 25 years.
I know of him. I don't know him.
Anyway, okay. He and a comedian, a good friend, Mike Marino, another comic.
Oh, yeah, I know Mike. Yeah, sure.
Oh, Mike's one of my dearest. In fact, so Michael and Mike asked me to open for them. I was on General Hospital, and they're like, he'll sell some tickets. Let him open. And I'm like, I can't. So Wheels and I wrote 5 minutes for me the night before. I come out, I get a huge laugh, and I literally said, please stop laughing. I don't have time in my life for this. It was like a drug.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Of course, they laughed even harder when I said that. But I said, stop it. I don't have time. I need to bomb tonight because I can't take this on.
You can't. It's stand-up comedy is the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you'd like, but you can never leave.
No, I can't. So for me, I have such a respect for it, and I love it. And doing 407 performances, playing Lenny, doing his material, I feel pretty comfortable with it, you know.
Yeah.
Do you ever ad lib? I know it's almost sacrilegious to do that with Lenny's words, but do you ever hear a joke in your head? See, I know if I were doing something like that, I'd hear jokes. I'd have to.
There's two sections in the play where I leave room for that. There's a whole section about blah 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 that he did, so blah blah blah, and I leave room in there. And if the audience is given back, then we go on a ride together. But otherwise, I have the set routine. But I certainly play a little bit, especially if they're lifting me up, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well, blah 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 is such a great piece of.
It brings the house down. It's great.
Yeah.
Great. Great.
He blah blah blah. He blah blah blah.
Do you find people coming to the shows know who he was?
You know, when I wrote the play, I really honestly thought I was writing it for, you know, people over 80, Jewish people who live in Florida. That's what I thought I was writing the play for. And then The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel happened, that TV show. And although they're not doing an authentic Lenny Bruce, they're doing the version of Lenny I was talking about in the play the original play I did, which is, it's cool. I mean, they're using his name. He's a cop. But that has opened so many people's eyes to Lenny. It's shocking. I'm so grateful to Maisel.
He does a good job. He does a good impression.
He's a good actor. It's not his show, so I don't know how far he would take that. But you know, it's a safe, nice version of Lenny. He's almost, of course. He's almost like a fairy godmother in this show.
Well, she refers to him as that, I think.
Oh, okay.
She?
I only saw like 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think she does. Yeah,
that's funny. Perfect.
Good call, Ronnie.
Yeah. He's so I'm grateful to the show, and now my audience is wide open. Lots of different ages. It's fantastic.
But do you think you'll be able to? I know at the risk of getting typecast, you know, are you getting other offers for other things besides?
Listen, you want to talk typecast? Look at his face. I've been playing gangsters and cops my whole life. Being typecast as a Jewish comic would be a treat.
Okay.
Do you know how many times I did Vinny, put him in the trunk? I mean, I've done 70 movies saying Vinny, put him in the trunk. So I'm relieved.
Teddy Kalaluka, who you guys have a mutual friend. He's an actor, but he was saying the same thing. He's played like how many cab drivers he's played because he looks like typical.
You know what? You know what the truth is? There was a time when that used to frustrate me, but I'm just so grateful to participate. And when people want you to do something, and you know what? I try to make them 2 and 3 dimensional and make them human beings, even if they're gangsters, whatever they are. So I'm grateful. I embrace it all at this point, you know.
So aside from the play or the one-man show, what else are you working on? Are you?
Oh, I'm tired. Look how tired I look. I'm directing a show right now. I was in rehearsal all day. I'm directing a play called Bill W. and Dr. Bob.
I saw that. Yeah.
Do you know who those guys were?
I know who Bill W. is. I don't know who Dr. Bob was.
Well, those are the 2 guys who came together in 1935 and started out Anonymous.
Oh, okay.
So I do this play about every 7 years or so in Los Angeles. I direct it. Usually I play Bill, but because I'm going on tour as Lenny, I can't. But it's really an important show. It's I feel like the community depends on it, and I love doing it for the community. So I'm doing that right now. We're booking.
Did you write this? Did you write it?
No, I just directed it.
Oh, okay.
But I've been working on the show for 20 years. It's really dear to me, and but I'm working on all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm so blessed. You know, there's just a lot of irons in the fire. I run a theater company in LA. I run one in New York.
I love that you're still working in theater and you're still doing the tangible theater. You know, a lot of people are like, I'm doing online stuff, but I just love the idea of a theater and going there.
I don't have a choice. You know, it's really my DNA. It's like, you know, the way I see all the work is whether you pay me $100 or $10,000, you get me. And I do my very best no matter what. And so all I hope is at the end of the month, I have enough money to pay the bills. And I don't care if I'm in the theater. I don't care where I am. I just want to tell stories. I know how lucky I am, you know?
Just like stand-up. It's just like stand-up. No different. Yeah. Except the money's better in acting.
Not in theater. I got news. Theater is a tough racket.
Did I know you got tight with Kitty Bruce, right? Over this.
Oh, she's family. Yeah, she's family.
Yeah. Well, I guess Sally Marr had already passed, right, by the time you started working on this.
Yeah, I never met Sally, sadly.
Sally, if you didn't know, was Lenny's mother, and but
Oh.
she
And
was a
what
strong.
was she? Was she in the business as well?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, she was
I
an
guess.
interesting. She did lots of different things, but she certainly worked down and helped a lot of comics find their way.
Yeah,
I think she helped discover people like Sam Kinison, I think, is on that list.
Oh.
Cheech and Chong, people
Mhm.
like that she really helped.
Does she
But
make any kind of appearance in the play? I know it's a one person show, but do you
yes, she
talk
does.
about Sally in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good. I'm glad.
Sally. They all
And
do.
Honey,
Honey,
Honey
yeah, Honey.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's special about this show. Generally speaking, when you see a piece about Lenny, they tend to focus on the end of his life, the bitter, angry
Mhm.
comic. And this show, you meet the whole man. I think that's why people like it. It's like you go through the whole journey. We start the play. I don't want to give away too much, but I start the play dead naked on the toilet, literally, and I work backwards of his whole life. So it's pretty wild, and it's a pretty shocking opening image.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty shocking picture when it made the papers too. I
Yeah.
mean,
What did you learn that you didn't know before the play? Like,
About
is there like a story that, like, wow, I didn't know that before I started? Like,
about Lenny or about myself?
About Lenny.
I have to be honest. So much of it,
Yeah.
it's when you're doing some guy's play, you learn the play, and then you hope to do a little research. But when you write your own, it's like I immerse myself in everything I can get my hands on. I learned that Lenny was. He's made out to be this rebel and he really believed he had a right to say what he wanted to say, but he also believed, and most people don't know this, he also believed that the American justice system is the best in the world, and he thought someday they were just going to apologize and go, Lenny, we're so sorry. You're totally right. He really believed in it. He had hope in it. He's made out to be this, like, me against the world, but he wasn't making a stand to make a stand. He was kind of thrust into that position because he was, the truth is, it wasn't so much the curse words. They were afraid of him because he was smart.
Mhm.
He held a mirror up to society, and they didn't know what to do with that.
I was.
So I just have to
Go ahead,
ask,
Ken.
because you paused and you're like, me or him. So what did you learn about yourself from that?
5 years ago, I could be really clear with you about the differences between Lenny and I. And today I don't really know, my heart doesn't know that I'm acting. And so it's all kind of melted together. And not that I think I'm Lenny Bruce, but the things he fought for, maybe I would have, not stood behind him personally so much 5 years ago. And I learned that one thing I learned about the show is that I'm a better actor than I thought I was. This material has opened up a side of me that really I never had a chance before this. It's like you're only as good as what you're working on.
Mhm.
And this material is so rich. I didn't know that I was going to go on this ride.
Well, like because you wrote it, I would imagine that you put a lot of your own your personality into into the words, at least, if not, in the character of Lenny.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, when you were doing the research, did you go back to Lord Buckley? Did you watch any of Lord Buckley?
A bit, yeah, I did.
It's amazing how you can see where Lenny picked up a lot of the patois, a lot of the,
absolutely, absolutely.
It's I know, I like you. I didn't know much about Lord Buckley. I knew something about him, but today I did a deep dive into him, and I was like, wow, I never realized. Yeah.
I love that. I heard you in your open talk about how to talk dirty and influence people. I don't know if you know, I recorded the audio book. And so if you go on Audible.
Did you really? Oh, wow.
As Lenny, the family asked me to do it. And so I spent 40 hours in a studio. It was the hardest job I've ever had in my life.
I have my original copy on my bookshelf somewhere. It's like,
Google, you'll get like a 5-minute free preview. It's interesting.
Cool.
I read the whole book as Lenny, and it's wild. It's out on Audible.
Yeah. It was quite a book for a young young comic. I wasn't even a comic back then, but I was a jazz musician. So
And so was Lenny in his mind. He always
exactly.
said his comedy. He was like he thought of himself as a jazz musician.
I still think of myself that way. I think comedy is very lyrical. It's very musical, and if you listen to comics, you can find the rhythm in it. And you nailed it though. From what the clips I've seen, you nailed it. You got the feel for it. You got good chops, Yoda.
Yeah, I think. Thank you. I'm available for work if you have anything. No, I'm really lucky. I tell you a funny story. When I was doing the audiobook, I'm in the studio, and the producer didn't know much about Lenny, so I'm doing like, to is a preposition, come as a verb. I'm doing all the Lenny bits, man.
Right.
And she's like, "Why are you saying it like that?" And I'm like, "Trust me, I got it."
Yeah. Did you come? Did you come good?
There probably aren't a lot of people that are coming in to do a book on tape that have actually done the person on stage for years.
What an honor, though. What an honor to be asked by the family. Wow.
If I really wrap my head around that, to think about like now for the next however many years, if you pick up that audiobook, I'm introducing you to Lenny. It's wild. I mean, honestly, it's like
it's like if you got an EGOT, if you did all that'd be great. But as a comic, this is better than an EGOT.
Well, it's interesting. I auditioned some guys. I was in Chicago. I ran in Chicago for 6 months, 2 6-month runs, and I was going to leave the show open and leave it there. And I auditioned 40 people to take over for me. I couldn't find the guy, and I just thought like, I can't do that to Lenny or Kitty. It's got to be the right guy. And, and Joe Mantegna said, nobody wants to see anybody else do it. You do it. That's it.
How did that happen with you and him?
Joe?
Yeah.
Joe's he's like a dad to me. We're very close. I got married in July, and Joe got ordained and married us. I mean, he's that cool. I mean, we're fans.
I see you in interviews with him, and you could see it. It's the love is in both your eyes. It's
he's
sweet.
the mensch of all mensches. He's the best guy in the world. About 18 years ago, I wrote a movie, and I had my friends on the wall with their headshots, and I was gonna do it. And there was one spot I was like, I gotta have the actor Joe Mantegna. I didn't know him. I gotta have Joe Mantegna. I love Joe Mantegna. So I write him a long letter to a P.O. box, hoping maybe he'll find it. 3 days later, he calls me. He's like, "It's Joe Mantegna. I read your letter. I read your script. You want to have lunch?" And I was like,
God.
And the rest is history. And it's wild. It's wild. So
that's amazing.
If anybody wants to reach out to somebody, you should do it. You never know.
Well, that's how we got you.
Hey, there it is. Steve Trevelise.
That's Trevelise.
I love that.
He's a sweet. You live in Jersey, or you live in LA?
Los Angeles. No, but I'm bi-coastal. I live both places. I live in Manhattan and probably 2/3 here in LA.
Yeah. I want to go back to your research for a minute. Did you come across the name Uncle Dirty at all? Bob Altman? No? Interesting.
Bob Altman. Yeah, Bob Altman. Is that Uncle Dirty?
Yeah, it's Uncle Dirty, yeah.
Oh, I heard Bob Altman. Why am I thinking of Bob Altman?
Well, not Robert Altman, not the director, but Bob Altman was.
Oh, I don't know why. I didn't come across that.
Okay, he was a comic from that era. I knew him. We were pretty good friends back in the day, and Carlin knows him. He and Carlin were really good friends too. But I know he had some interaction with Lenny too. And I was just wondering if his name popped up along in your
no,
research.
it's so many names, and to be honest with you, it's like over time you talk to so many people, you meet so many people. I can't believe I'm having conversations with half the people I am. It's like to be considered in that conversation with you. It's really quite a dream, you know.
It's the comedy world. Comedians. This show is dedicated to all things comedy, and every comic in the world owes a debt to Lenny, and we all aspired to be him.
Well, I hear you, and you know what? You'd be pretty disappointed to know. There are a lot of comics who are making a living who don't know Lenny.
Wow.
Under 40. I've met comics and I said, I'm playing Lenny Bruce. Who? I said,
Yeah. Sad, right?
oh, I'm like, what's your point of reference, you know?
Yeah. I get reminded of my age all the time, and it pisses me off, Ronnie. It does. I've got 42 years doing this, and it's and I feel like I'm just getting started.
You know what? I understand. It's great. Don't
Yeah.
worry. You're doing
All right.
awesome.
What?
You're doing awesome. You're doing great. It's great.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
Stop.
go on. No, really, go on.
Oh, go on. Did you come across Brother Theodore at all in your? Did that name pop up in your research, Brother Theodore?
No, you're making me feel like I didn't do enough research. Jeez.
No,
Really?
Brother Theodore was. Just for your own entertainment, you ought to Google him and take a look at him too.
All right, I will.
Mort Saul was an important figure.
Yeah. Wartsall, of course, those guys. I mean, listen, Lenny wasn't the only guy doing even blue material at that time, but he became the poster boy. You know, you had guys doing like Red Fox, guys like that doing blue material. You know, but Lenny just paid the price. You know,
why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
I just think people were threatened by him. I think, he examined everything. You know, he wasn't afraid to go, yeah, but why? Let's talk about that. But why? You know, and people are like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Right. Religion was a big thing. I mean, the first time he got arrested was in Chicago. He did a routine called Religions Incorporated.
Incorporated, yeah.
It's very funny. He had the Pope Jewish and all. I know. And what was wild about it is that he got arrested by a Catholic cop, and he didn't even say one dirty word, but they were offended. And it's like, you know, where's the line? Who makes the line? And then when you cross the line, you make a new line. And so they didn't want to hear any of that. And he was just so smart, and he was exploring. You know,
there's a bit that you talk about I saw the clips about doing the bit about the N-word. You know, and if you say it enough times, it won't hurt anymore. And you had some reservations about doing the bit, which is to me almost like, then why the fuck why do a show about Lenny if you're not going to do Lenny, if you're not going to do his material, you know?
You know, it's interesting. You might not be happy to hear this, but I actually have removed it now, and here's why.
Okay.
And it took, and I didn't make that decision lightly. It was months of sleepless nights, because here's the thing: Lenny in the '60s was very different than today, and he was a smart man, and he wasn't mean spirited. When I did the show, the first 300 performances, I was always nervous, but I did the bit. And most of the time it went really well. And the only people who ever really were offended were 20-year-old white millennials. Those were the ones who had a problem with it. The African-American people loved it. They stood up, they clapped. Robert Townsend, you know, the great Robert Townsend.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
He stood up, he applauded, you know. So the bit was scary every night, but I did it with so much love. I was gentle, and I did it with love, and I really tried to make the point, you know. And so everyone understood where my heart was and Lenny's heart was. But then George Floyd happened, and the world turned upside down. And then what I was afraid of is that nobody's listening. And then I started to say to myself, we have this 90-minute show about this great person. And for this 2-minute bit, it doesn't encapsulate all of Lenny. And so people are checking out. They don't want to see it. They're angry. People walked out. And I said, well, then, listen, I almost felt like I'm doing him a disservice. Now, trust me, for a very long time, I argued the other side of the point. So I didn't take this decision lightly. I went to Joe and I went to Kitty, and I said, after many sleepless nights, I think I should take it out for a while. And they said, thank you. Thank you. We've been waiting
Really?
for you. Please, thank you. And Kitty said, my dad wouldn't do that bit today. He's a smart guy. He just wouldn't do the bit. It wouldn't have got him the mileage it did 60 years ago.
Interesting.
So
somebody once told me, it's interesting that you said, somebody in broadcasting, they said, anything that distracts from the message, you shouldn't really, you should probably try to edit out, because they weren't ready for that, anymore. That had been said. Anytime that, anytime you're trying to do something, but it's so controversial that you can't carry on with the messaging, then it's.
If you guys would have found me the first 4 years of the run, I would have fought the other side really hard, and I would have said, I'm putting tape over Lenny's mouth again. I'm not doing it, not on my watch.
I think I even heard you say that in an interview.
Okay, so maybe so. But then, you got to listen to your heart, and there comes a day when you go, it's not a sellout. I'm not one of these actors that just wants to be in the papers for 24 hours and then get thrown away. It's not what I want. I not to get too kooky on you guys or too spiritual, but in a lot of ways, I feel this immense burden and obligation to continue where Lenny left off and get to share his story with everybody. So
I totally get that. Yeah, I totally get it.
I don't take it lightly. I'm not just some actor who got a gig. And I think if you see the performance, and I hope you guys do, the love that I and even in the darkest moments, I mean, let's face it, it's not all. I tell the story, we go through it, but I have such a respect for Lenny that I just feel like, I don't know. I really believe in my soul he wouldn't do that bit today. I just don't think he would do it. I think he would find another way to make that point, which was, let's stop giving words power.
Well, but what you did was by taking it out, and I'm not getting into an argument, but by taking it out, aren't you giving it power? Kat, do you know the bit? Do you know the bit we're talking about? It's a
the N-word bit.
I'll do it off the air. I don't want to do it now.
Okay.
I don't take that out of context.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. Again, if it's causing that much turmoil at that point where it's not simmering down, like just let it.
Yeah, because the bit, I'm not getting out of it what I want. I mean, people were listening differently in the 60s. And even up to 4 years ago, like it was still, people begged me not to do it in Chicago. They're like, you're going to get killed in Chicago. Don't do it. And I'm like, no, I stand behind the bit. I stand behind it. But there just comes a day when, like, listen, if I die the same exact person as I was 30 years ago, then shame on me for not growing. Shame on me. And so when my heart says, stop it right now, just stop it. You got to at some point listen to that. And I didn't make that decision in 12 minutes. You had to see the angst, the sleepless nights.
Oh, no, I can imagine.
It was awful. I could show you letters between me and Joe. And then the great Dick Gregory, Dick Gregory.
Oh,
sure, yeah.
Christian has become very dear to me. Christian and I having heart-to-hearts on the phone. The first time I was going to cut it in Chicago, he goes, Ronnie, don't cut it. My dad, he's rolling over his grave. Please don't cut the bit. This is Christian. I cut it the day before I cut it this time. I called him. I said, Christian, I need your blessing. I have to whack it. And he goes,
this is Dick Gregory's son?
Oh, yeah.
Dick Gregory's? Yeah.
I said, I need your blessing. I got to cut the bit. He goes, I think it's a good idea. And that's it. And there comes a day when
the blessing that you needed.
Yeah.
It makes it makes you think if I were doing your show, I would think, Jesus, if I'm having this much angst over doing this bit, imagine what Lenny must have.
Oh, he was tortured, and I still, by the way, it's like, I hope you guys get to see it because you'll see that
I'm dying to see it. If it comes to Jersey, you got to let me know.
Well, I'm playing in March. I'm playing not necessarily Jersey, but if you want to take a little road trip, I'm in Rochester. I'm in Buffalo. It's only 4 hours. I'll drive you. I'll pick you
All
up.
right. Pick me up. I'll go up with you.
I'll take you up there for the week.
For me.
Yeah, but no, I'm playing Rochester, Buffalo. I'm playing Toronto, playing Bellingham, Washington, playing San Diego.
I did Bellingham. Oh, what a beautiful! Which theater out in Bellingham?
We're at the Mount Baker.
I think that's the one we worked at. I love Bellingham. It was
I'm excited to go up. So, and we're booking other cities, and we're having a very serious conversation right now with the West End of London, doing a long run there.
Nice.
That
was Lenny popular in Europe?
He was, but he actually, when he flew to London, they didn't let him off the plane. They wouldn't let him off the plane, and rumor has it he wept like a baby. He didn't understand why they wouldn't. He cried on the plane.
Oh
They
my
said,
gosh.
"You're not welcome here," and they sent
And he
them
wrote
back.
he wrote the
Oh.
Palladium, right? Did he write the Palladium for that?
One of the greatest performances of all
Oh.
time, the Palladium. It was a major snowstorm, and everybody showed up. Everybody came, and it was
That's
Yeah.
great.
it was his crowning achievement. I think that was the night that was that was the night.
Yeah.
That was the night, and
If we're lucky, we get one of those in our lifetime as performers. To get more than one.
And the truth is, Julie, it's like what you just said is how I feel about this piece. Joe said, "Listen, Ronnie, you've been so blessed. You haven't had the last real job I had outside of showbiz was at the Macaroni Grill in 1998." So he goes, that was the last time I said, "Would you like an iced tea? What can I get you?" But he said, "So your obituary is going to read, Ronnie did good. He was a nice guy. He got a lot of work. He was very blessed. General Hospital, this, that. And he played Lenny Bruce."
Yeah.
And so to me, like to have this piece, it's like, oh, look who's texting me, Mike Marino. That's funny.
Ah.
He sent me the Italian flag because that's all we do all day long.
So Susie Yango then? You know Susie Yango?
Oh yeah, very well.
Oh, okay.
In fact, Susie, I told Susie to book me because she books shows, right?
Yeah, well, she books Catch in Princeton.
I told her to book me, and she goes, well, she saw the show. She was blown away, but she's like, I never booked like a show. I booked comics or whatever. This was a couple years ago. I'm like, hey, Susie, keep me in mind. If you have the right venue, I'll come play it, So I like Susie, yeah.
Oh, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah,
Don't ever ride in the car with her, though, because
she can't drive.
Don't ever ride in the car with Julia either.
No, stop.
It's just a pot calling the kettle.
Where are you guys in Jersey? You guys in Jersey?
I am. I'm originally from North Jersey, near North Bergen, but I live down the shore now.
And I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
I'm in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Well, Pittsburgh. Well, I grew up in Woodbridge. I'm a Woodbridge guy.
Okay.
And my wife's from up in North Jersey. What do you call it? What the hell's everybody goes there?
I don't know. She's your wife. I don't know.
Oh my God, I was just there. Bergen County, but what's the town? Everybody goes there. Everybody loves it. It's the new town, the hip town.
Woodstock.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm losing
not.
Anyway,
all right.
She's from North Jersey, and I'm from Woodbridge, and you're from Pittsburgh, which is funny because the Steelers are my favorite team.
Ah, I knew I liked him.
My whole life.
Do you? Do you talk about the Carnegie?
Julia doesn't like every time I bring up sports, Ronnie. Like she just kind of goes like it's Teflon. She's just like, oh, hey.
Look, I'm going to show you. Ready? Here, look. I'm going to show you some stuff. All these terrible towels I have. I got a million of them.
He's a real fan.
Look, I'm a huge Steeler fan. Look at this Steeler. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Look at this ball, this Steelers ball from with like all these guys. I'm a huge Steeler fan.
Right.
I just messed up my display, so I got to fix it later.
Well, I got to get your address. I will send you Steeler stuff.
Yeah. I'll tell you how big a Steeler fan I am. I just went and played Pittsburgh. I just played Pittsburgh, by the way.
When are you coming back?
A couple of months ago, I played the Byam.
Wow, that's a nice theater.
Yeah, 1,600 seats. I played it 2 nights.
Wow.
We played 2 nights. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Next time you come back, I gotta see it.
I'll
or in the area.
Yeah.
Do you have a website, or how do we find out about your shows?
Go to lennybruceonstage.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you check it out. There's a lot of good stuff. I don't know what you guys got to see, but we've got some cool videos from the show, and it's wonderful. I'm just so blessed, and the reviews have been great. I mean, they've been.
Of course. I asked you earlier before we went off on football. What did you talk about the Carnegie Hall concert in there?
I don't mention it. No.
Really? Was that on purpose or?
No. You know what the thing is like people always say to me, "What about that?" And they heckle me. I'm like, it's a 90-minute show. You can only fit in so much.
Right.
I have to stop reading stuff about Lenny because every time I read something new, Joe goes, "Stop! Don't put it in the show." Because as the writer, I'm so inspired all the time, and he's like, "You can't put everything in," So I don't mention it. I hope you guys get to see it. It's pretty cool.
I'm really, I do want to see it. I know Trev went to go see it, and he loved it. He was raving about it. Yeah. So Rochester, like I said, unless you pick me up, I'm not. Hey, you're going to be at the comedy museum there? Is that where you're doing the show, or are you doing it in a
No,
theater?
no. I've been there though. I actually, Kitty and I went and cut the ribbon for Lenny's display. We cut the ribbon there. Yeah, yeah. It was wild. I went with Kitty and beautiful, beautiful. That place is awesome. The Comedy Center, National Comedy.
I want to take my son there in the spring. We did a trip last year up to the Cooperstown, and I want to take him to this.
It's Disneyland. You got to spend days there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I think I'm such a. I mean, until they open up a Julia Scotti exhibit, I'm not going though.
Well, we'll open one up. We'll open it right next door, right on the lawn. We'll put something out on the lawn there. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope you come to one of my shows one of these days, Ronnie Marmo.
Listen, invite me. You have my info now. You have my number. We text sometimes now. We're texting.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. I'd love to hang out. You're fun to hang out with. You're my kind of person.
All right, good. You too.
So, Ronnie, you don't have to play, but at the end of our shows, we usually play a little game.
Oh, yes.
Are you smarter than a 70-year-old? And I just ask
me being the 70-year-old.
These are 70-year-old.
There's a lot of stress.
All right, ask trivia questions. You don't have to play.
No, I'm going to play.
Okay, you want to play?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you imagine if I was like, no, and I just got
I know. Well, then I just would go, well, you were great, Ronnie. Thank you. We'll see.
Well, before the show, I said to her, well, let's see how we, if he likes us. If he doesn't,
I'm happy to report I like you both very much.
And we feel the same way. Thank you.
Wait till you hear my questions.
All right, go ahead.
All right. You ready? All right.
Yes.
Let's see how we do here. All right, Ronnie. Which president is on the $2 bill?
Do I say it or she says it?
If you know it, you can say it.
You can, and I can concur or not.
I got $1 million $2 bills too. It's so weird. I collect them.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I have a bunch. Every time I get a $2 bill, I keep it. I probably got 20 of them. Who's on it? Who's it? Grant? No, that's not Grant. Shit. Oh man.
It's not a president. Is it?
Yes, it's a president.
Oh, it's a president?
Yeah. Well, that's what.
Millard Fillmore.
No. A little more mainstream.
I don't.
Can we have another question, please? Can there be another question?
Okay, so are you ready? You ready for the answer? Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
Thomas Jefferson. Yes? All right.
All right.
True or false? The color orange is named after a fruit.
False.
See why? Yeah, I'm going to go with him.
True.
Come on, Marmo. You're supposed to help me out.
Because it seemed obvious, so I didn't go.
I know.
I know me. That's why I know. All right. It was a trick question.
All right.
It seemed obvious.
What was Mountain Dew's original slogan?
I know the answer to this. This stuff tastes like piss.
Do you really?
Oh, no.
No.
The original slogan.
That's wrong.
Oh, okay.
Mountain Dew.
Yahoo God. Mountain Dew, right? Wasn't it Yahoo Mountain Dew?
I don't have the answer. I didn't know I had to use my brain in this conversation.
I know. It was a trick interview.
Yeah, you guys. I don't know. I don't have the answer. What is it?
Okay, so Yahoo Mountain Dew, but the rest of the part was it'll tickle your innards.
Oh yeah, it'll tickle. Well, you didn't ask for the whole thing. I just said Yahoo
it'll
Mountain
tickle
Dew.
Your what?
Innards.
Innards.
It was a hillbilly kind of character that he would go Yahoo. That was a.
All right. What animal breathes out of its behind? Out of
Republicans.
its butt?
Sorry, Donald Trump. No.
Nope, I was going to say it. You took it out of my mouth. I have no idea. Monkey? I don't know.
Frog? A frog.
Turtle.
Okay.
A turtle. All right.
Who wrote these?
You guys look like you're having a lot of fun. All right. Who is Saturday Night Live's first celebrity guest?
Carlin.
Ronnie.
She said that really fast. I'll agree with her.
You concur? That's smart. That was good. Yeah, it was. Yes, that's correct. All right. What is the main ingredient of mince pie?
Mountain Dew.
Mince pie. What is that? Who eats that?
It's
Not the meat.
Mince.
It's no, it's not. It's a southern thing. It's chopped up some kind of nut. No, there's no meat at all, Ronnie. There is no meat in mincemeat pie. Yeah, it's not meat. It's cut up fruits, some kind of fermented fruit. I don't remember what fruit it is, but that's what it is.
Fermented fruit.
Yeah,
Very
fermented
good.
fruit.
Yay,
Yay.
Julia. And
All
wait, yay. All right, last question.
Thank God.
And I'll make it. Oh,
I didn't say that. I was thinking that. I was just thinking, thank God. It just came
All
out.
right, last question. And I will give you a multiple choice just because the odds of you of getting this. How many varieties of avocados are there? 5,
yeah.
50, 500, or 5,000?
I'm going to go with 50.
Ronnie?
I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with an answer, but I think it's something else, and that's weird, right? So I'm going to go 5, but that's not what I think.
You going 5?
500?
Or 500?
I want to go 500, but I'm going to go 5.
You said 500, right?
Yes.
She's pushing you to 500.
That's right, Ronnie. It's 500.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. All right, good. 500, I won. All right, great.
All right, my questions are not appreciated, so we're done.
No, but you know who is appreciated? Ronnie Marmo, because
this thing you were riveting until the end. I don't know what happened, but it was.
Listen. This was. Thank you for doing this. This was everything I hoped it would be and more. And you were a sweet, sweet man.
Really.
Thank you, guys. I really hope to meet you in person, and I really want you to see Lenny. So stay in touch. You're welcome to have my info as well.
Got the website, and we'll definitely make sure that we check it out and see what's coming up.
You want, okay?
And when you come east, when you come east again, if you're around New York area, let me know, and I'll come meet you. We'll go grab some.
I'll be there March, probably almost the whole month. So stay in touch.
All right, call me. So
and if you're in Pittsburgh, I'll take you to a Pirate game.
I would love that. I would love it. All right, guys.
All right, take care, buddy.
Take care, Ronnie. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Again, another nice human being.
Really?
We've been so lucky.
I know.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and it's a good. I'm sure it's a good show from the clips I've seen. He's just.
Oh yeah, what I saw on YouTube and stuff was really fun. You have to see what's going on the other side.
I saw you were looking at someone. So
there's activity. I don't know if you can see it. My brother-in-law is shirtless, cleaning the floor. You see him?
What is he like? Is he a tiny person?
No. I mean,
well, let's see.
He's on his hands and knees. Wait,
I see a little pinhead. I don't see a human being.
No, he's not a pinhead.
No, he looks like he's like.
Well, because he's on his hands and knees.
Oh, okay. What's his name?
Jim.
Jim. Hi, Jim. Can he hear me?
Awesome.
Can he hear me?
He can hear you.
Hi, Jim.
Best. He gets. Yeah, he's the best.
All right. Why is he on his hands and knees cleaning?
Because he's the best.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I thought I was the best, but okay.
Well, you're not cleaning.
Well, this was a.
He said you don't even compare.
Oh, excuse me. Jim's got a little bit of an ego there. Okay.
Dropped his sponge and he flexed.
All right. Well, I'm going to drop my sponge too and say goodbye to you. This was a fun show, though.
It was.
Ronnie Marmo, thank you. Go see the.
Oh my God! What was it again? It was Lenny Bruce on.
I'm Lenny Bruce. Yeah, Lenny Bruce. Yeah.
Awesome.
And also subscribe to. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, our podcast already, please. All right. I love you all. Love you, Kath.
Love you, funny Jim. Way of showing it.
Hey.
Bye. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie.